While its impact and those it serves has grown, K.C. Shepherd Center remains focused on the programs and foundation that began 50 years ago.
This is our 50th anniversary, and the mission has not changed one iota. Shepherd Center is a peer-led program, which was revolutionary for 50 years ago. It's pretty normal now in social services, but back then, that was a revolutionary vision of our founder, Dr. Elbert Cole.
CBS News brought Dr. Cole's vision to light in this 1976 documentary.
These people are all retired. They are all over 65. They are busy creating their own self-image and reality. They are joined in an active volunteer program run by themselves, for themselves, that reclaims dignity and responsibility for their retirement years. Yes. They call it Shepherd Center.
CBS News presents Look Up and Live. Today, Volunteer to Live.
A group of us here in Kansas City really started out to build a retirement home and discovered that the first task to be done was to work with the huge population that probably will never go into retirement homes.
Dr. Rusty Ryan was one of the many volunteers in those formative years inspired by Dr. Cole's vision to build an organization centered on, for, and with older adults.
At that time, most of the emphasis was on youth, children, probably young adults. And as he began to kind of survey his older adults and those who had recently or were thinking about retiring, he found out that they were going to live another 30 years. And he didn't think they should just go home and watch TV and rock in a chair and be non-helpful to the community.
Dr. Cole's fundamental challenge was to reach out to older adults that might otherwise be neglected by society.
I guess one of the things that we have to keep working on over and over again is to identify the people in our community who get lost, who just quietly out there somewhere in our territory just are so silent that society doesn't hear their cry.
K.C. Shepherd Center is best known for a program that serves as one of its signature building blocks.
Shepherd Center's program began with the home delivery of hot meals to the older retired who expressed a need for such a service. Meals on Wheels, as it is called, was new to Kansas City.
When COVID started, in March of 2020, we were serving 50 home-delivered meals clients a day, hot delivered meals. And we now, with the inclusion of frozen meals through Mid-America Regional Council, our area agency on aging, and the growth during COVID, we are serving over 1,000 clients.
Elbert Cole awardee Kathy Smith is part of a family that's volunteered through 3 generations delivering for Meals on Wheels.
My father, some way, made it possible to have some kind of a van, the first van that Shepherd Center had for Meals on Wheels. And he continued that for many years until my daughter decided to replace my father, and my daughter Sibley has been delivering Meals on Wheels for over 20 years.
The second major program that we developed was Adventures in Learning, and it's even the strong suit program in most of our Shepherd Centers today, 50 years later.
Central United Methodist is the home church where the participants regularly come together for weekly programs. As the Shepherd Center volunteers expanded their target group beyond the aging who were homebound, they developed a series of self-enrichment classes and activities that bring up to 800 people here for a full day's schedule.
They provide a Zoom class that I've been participating in, and I've always wanted to know the history of opera and opera houses across the world. They provide that. They provide news for individuals. They provide card games. They provide fun and learning. It's not just the meals.
When you are learning something, you are not getting old. When you stop learning, you are getting old.
Dr. Cole had a way about him that encouraged volunteers and captured hearts with his charisma.
The sparkle of his tireless vision that captured my heart as a young man and still has a great impact in my life today. So that's what Dr. Cole did for me, and I want to pass it on to others in some kind of legacy.
There are now over 50 Shepherd Centers across the country, solidifying Dr. Cole's indelible legacy. Serendipity brought Carn Executive Director Janet Baker home 3 years ago to lead the center into the future as she and her husband look to return from Oregon to their family and roots in Kansas City.
I got an email from a colleague, Martha Gershon, who was doing some interim work here, that this position was available. And I knew right away that it was God giving me a way home.
Janet and her staff, as well as the hundreds of volunteers, will need help to keep up with the demand for its services. Baby boomers are the fastest growing segment of the population.
And by your example and by your generosity as a donor to the Shepherd Center, your gift is going to bring great harvest.
We don't serve us. We don't serve our parents. We serve primarily people who don't have us and are alone and need a meal on a daily basis. They need companionship in order to stay healthy and active. They need that lifelong learning opportunity. They need Medicare counseling. And if you give us the opportunity, give me $1, I'll stretch it to have an impact of 10. Please give us the opportunity to support our older adults in Kansas City.
Shepherd Center has put life into people that thought there was no hope, people that felt that their only alternative was perhaps to have a very sedentary, passive life. And suddenly, as I remember one man said, we thought life was over, he said, but now we've discovered that life's only beginning.